Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. It is about 6 o'clock in the evening. And are there, well, let me ask the Madam Clerk to please call roll.
J. David Reed.
Present?
Dave Frank.
Present.
Judy Ann Files.
Present.
Doug Glasswell.
Present.
Eddie Uliberry.
Here.
And all members of council are present.
Thank you. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you. Before we actually get into the agenda tonight and get started, I really want to start the meeting off on a very positive note. Some of you were here earlier at 5 o'clock this evening here in council chambers for the swearing in of 5 new police officers by Chief Blaine Hall. And that was really exciting to see the new officers here with their families supporting them. And so we have 5 new police officers starting work tomorrow, right, Chief? So we're very fortunate, and we're doing very well in hiring our new officers and training them, and it was a really neat and positive experience. So next time anyone, you read about the swearing in of the next group of officers, which will be coming soon. 30 days.
Wow.
Please try and attend that. It's very uplifting. So just wanted to say a few words about that. The next item on the agenda is the call for public comment on non-agenda items. And I have something I need to read if we're going to have public comment, and if we're not, I'll dispense with the reading of that. So could I have a show of hands of all of you who are here to offer public comment? Okay, then you'll have to bear with me and listen to this. The call for public comment agenda item is a time when concerned members of the community may publicly voice their concerns and discuss items of interest. Please note that no formal action will be taken on the matters raised during this time. Comments made during this time should be addressed to the council and pertain to matters of at least general importance to the city and its operations. Please be aware that neither city council nor city staff are expected to respond or engage in discussion or debate. Please refrain from any personal attacks and disagreements, personnel and employment matters, the use of profanity or ethnic, racial, or gender-oriented slurs, as they may be considered disorderly conduct which violates state or local law. I will also say that each of you, as you approach the podium, please identify yourself by name and understand that you are being timed. Your limit is 3 minutes, and I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left to wrap up your comments. Who would like to go first? Mr. Brown?
Thank you very much, Mayor. My name is John Brown. I'm a resident of Montrose. There are many shades of gray, as not all is black and white. A color can appear, and it can be called by many different names or labels. This is true of who we are. We may believe that we are one way, and the perception of others label us as how they perceive us. Perception is reality. The council has stated that Montrose is a non-sanctuary city, but how are we perceived by others? Without specific details defining Montrose, people will look at us and make their own identification of us, their own perceived reality. Merely stating to the media that a law defines Montrose as non-sanctuary without evidence is not any kind of declaration. The status of Montrose is still left up to the imagination of those who don't know about the hidden law. Nothing has ever been posted to show what law this is and when it was invoked into law. We don't even know the contents of the law, except that the council has stated, as it is stated, it is a law. If we wish to make everyone aware that Montrose is a non-sanctuary city, then it needs to be publicly voted on by the city council with stipulations. This needs to be done before Montrose becomes another Aurora, Colorado. It is happening in our home state. What does it take to get real movement? Do we need to wait until our city gets overrun with people that have outgrown Denver or visited by gangs from third world countries making our community unsafe? By the time all this happens, it is too late. The federal government, the governor's office of Colorado, and all those NGOs who are providing for the financial needs of these illegals, or as they have been referred to as newcomers, see Montrose as a destination. If making a statement will not have any effect, then what harm would it be to publicly declare Montrose non-sanctuary? Montrose would become known not as others would perceive us, but as we would want the world to know who we are and what our priorities are in protecting our citizens and our safe environment. Please, don't let what has happened in Aurora, Colorado and Springfield,
30
Ohio
seconds, sir.
happen in Montrose, Colorado. As of now, we live in a community that is neither black nor white, but gray, without specific direction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
My name is Tom Mathis. We first attempted to build a house in Montrose County, and the local general contractor poured the footings 4 inches short in every direction, leaving excessive non-code compliant footing projections. This was brought to the attention of the engineer, the general contractor, building official, and Board of County Commissioners. With no help from anybody in power, we ultimately hired a Denver attorney who helped us retrieve our money, and we sold the non-code compliant foundation with the property as is. A home was built on the same foundation with false reports submitted by the PE that we had used. We ended up in Ouray County trying to build again, as we weren't comfortable buying or building in Montrose County anymore. We hired another local developer contractor based out of the city of Montrose to oversee our project, as we has no local connections in the construction industry here. The project started on 4/24/24, and once again we had to personally stop the job because the foundation was not installed properly. Approximately 20 deficiencies exist, including the footings off 3 inches in every direction. Again, we are stuck because Ouray County minimized the intent of the 2018 IRC they adopted, much like Montrose County did. Ultimately, we have been left homeless after 2 attempts to realize our dream on the western slope. I'm a retired union carpenter with 40 years experience in the industry and have never experienced this before till we moved here in 2019. So here we are again trying to resolve another defective foundation issue on our own because the local building officials have minimized the intent of the IRC they adopted. We have been through 2 local professional engineers, 2 local general contractors, 2 local concrete contractors, and 2 building officials, plus 2 attorneys. With that said, why aren't the building officials fulfilling their duties to safeguard the public? The biggest investment most of us make is a house. Don't we all deserve code-compliant homes? Licensing contractors, along with restoring the intent of the IRC, would better safeguard the public. We have experienced 2 construction defects in a row on the most critical component, the foundation. How many other homeowners had their defective foundation simply covered up with no review by the building officials? Home buyers need to be aware on the western slope. I noticed several members of the city council have construction background. I would hope they were held to higher standards in
30
the
seconds, sir.
industry. That's it, I'm complete. I condensed it so I didn't have to do a sequel from the last time I was here. But it's nice to see all these young faces attending a council meeting. It took me a lot more years before I had the guts to come up here. So thank you for the opportunity.
You bet.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Kathleen Curry. And I'm just here to listen tonight. I'm a candidate for House District 58, and I want to make sure I'm familiar with what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Next.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Nicole Johnston. I'm a citizen born and raised in Montrose, and I'm here again to request that you either put it to a vote or declare Montrose a non-sanctuary city. I urge you to be open and transparent with the monies that are being spent and what's going on in this community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we will move on to item number 6 of the agenda, and that's City Council consideration of the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 special City Council meeting and the September 3rd, 2024 regular City Council meeting. City Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024 special City Council meeting and the September 3rd, 2024 regular City Council meeting as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And that passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda, item number 7, is City Council consideration of applicants Sydney Bell, Grayson Vidmore, Robin Cattell, Dorinka Skibova, and Catherine Giacchino for positions on the 2024-2025 Montrose Youth City Council. And we'll turn that over to Brasida Ortega, our Deputy Clerk. Would you like to say a few comments, Bree?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. My name is Perseda. I'm the Youth City Council Coordinator, and we have Gunnison Clamp, and he's the other Youth City Council Coordinator. And we are so excited to have a total of 11 students that applied for Youth City Council for the 2024-2025 term, and we have 7 of them today. And so we have Peter Phillips. He has joined us virtually, and so I think can start off with him.
Thank you very much. And the way we're going to do this, I'm going to ask each of the candidates here to stand up, introduce yourselves, say a little bit about yourself, whatever you'd like to say, what school you attend, what year in school you're in. And then each council member, well, one council member per student will ask you a question from a list of questions that we've been provided. So relax. This is fun, right? So what I'd like to do, I believe that, is Mr. Phillips virtual? Okay.
Yes, hi, hello.
Hi. So we'll begin with Peter Phillips, who is with us virtually tonight. Mr. Phillips, would you please introduce yourself? And then following your brief comments, I'm going to ask Mayor Pro Tem Frank to ask the first question.
I am Peter Phillips. I am a sophomore and I attend Peak Academy.
Good evening, Peter. Welcome back. I know you were on youth council last year as well. So my question to you is, give us an example of an activity or an opportunity for youth you'd like to see the Youth City Council organize.
Well, I was actually talking to some of my friends about this a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people I know thought that a really fun activity would be pickleball, like a little tournament. And so I thought that would be a really fun experience that we could get a lot of youth throughout the community to come and enjoy.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start down on this end with you, ma'am. And would you please come to the podium and introduce yourself and give us a little information about you? And I will ask Councilwoman Judy Ann Files to ask the next question.
Hi, I am Lauren Clark. I am a senior at Montrose High School, and I'm in the Montrose High School Color Guard, and yeah.
Thank you. The city attorney's reminding me I have to turn on my mic. You noticed the grin. Please tell us one of the biggest challenge or issue that's facing youth in our community today.
So the biggest challenge that I see personally, and a lot of my friends have told me, is getting a left turning arrow into the senior parking lot of the high school off of Townsend and 7th, because people don't know how to drive. So, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, please.
So, hi everybody. My name is Darinka Skibova. I'm 16 years old and I'm junior at Montrose High School and I'm Rotary Exchange Student 2024-2025 from Slovakia.
Wonderful. Councilman Yellowberry?
Oh, I was hoping I could pick on you. I only have one question, but it's not on the list, so if you got the list,
Yes.
forget it. What made you choose Montrose as your destination as a student?
It's not what I chose. I was choosing this destination. They told me where I'm going, but I like Montrose so much. I feel like people are super nice here and they are able to help each other, and that's what I really appreciated.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Welcome to
much.
Montrose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Bell, and I am in 11th grade at Montrose High School.
Councilman Glassbell?
I'm going to take one off the list, so I don't want to cause you any extra trouble. Okay. What's the one thing you would like to change in our community and why?
One thing I would like to change in our community is I think if we could really fix up Centennial Plaza area and maybe do a project with, maybe, I know there's like the river stuff that used to have stones in it, maybe we could refurbish that or just reapply that and just make it nicer for farmers markets and stuff. And I know a lot of people go there for farmers markets, so I think it would be nice if we could just redo it and fix it up a little. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, please.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Giacchino. I am a junior at the high school, and this is going to be my first year applying.
Great. I guess I will ask the question. And the question is, what makes you unique?
I think one huge thing that makes me unique is I'm very passionate about a lot of things. I'm very passionate about writing, about poetry. I am a co-founder here with Robin at the Poetry Club at the school, and I love music. I am in the marching band and jazz band as of right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So we have 2 students left and 2 council members to ask questions. Who volunteers? Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Glass.
I'm fine. Hi, my name is Robin Cattell. I'm in 11th grade at Montrose High School, and this is my second term being on here, and I really like graphic design and stuff like that, so.
Mayor Pro Tem?
How would you describe your leadership style?
I'd say my leadership style is I really like working with a lot of people and getting a lot of ideas into, like, I guess you could call it a bucket, and making sure everyone kind of gets what they want in a way. A lot of making sure it's not just me who gets my needs met and that it's everybody, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Council. My name is Grayson Vidmar. I'm a sophomore at Montrose High School, and I hope this will be my second year serving on the Youth City Council.
Hey, Grayson. It's nice to see you again. Thank you for wanting to come back. How do you feel a teacher or a friend would describe you?
Ma'am, I believe that a teacher or a friend would probably describe me as hardworking, diligent, and committed to long-term goals. My commitment to long-term goals goes a ways back. I've been doing activities like this from a young age, like Boy Scouts of America. And a lot of times in activities like that, we had to work hard to make sure that not only the goals that we are presented right now got met, but also the goals for the entire year, or the entire season. So I think that I've just gotten used to working towards a goal that's maybe a long ways off and takes more work, but it's more fulfilling in the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Let me thank all of you for coming this evening. It's really neat to see your interest in wanting to be involved in your community and in the government of your community. And it takes a lot of courage for you to come to a meeting like this and stand up before these old guys and gals. So we do appreciate it. And thank you. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. And you are excused. But you're welcome to stay.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
You know, I think I remember being in high school, but it was last century early.
Yes. So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve approve the appointment of Peter Phillips, Sydney Bell, Grayson Vidmar, Robin Cattell, Darinka Skavova, and Catherine Giacchino and Lauren Clark to the Montrose Youth City Council for the 2024-2025 term.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you.
We're pretty confident how the vote's going to go.
Do you want to do voice vote? Oh, there it is. So the motion passes unanimously. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back for those of you who have done this before, and welcome to the crew if you haven't.
The next item on the agenda, agenda is item number 8, City Council consideration of an application for a new hotel and restaurant liquor license at 1544 Oxbow Drive, Suite 198 for Fitz Union LLC, doing business as Endless Possibilities for consumption on the licensed premises. And for that, I'll turn it over to City Attorney, Mr. Dowsey.
Thank you, Mayor Reed. Members of council, before City Council is an application for a new hotel and restaurant license for Fitz Union LLC, doing business as Endless Possibilities, located at 1544 Oxbow Drive, Suite 198. This is a public hearing for the new hotel and restaurant license. The permit is in order and the fees have been paid. From city staff's review of the application, we have seen nothing that would prevent council from issuing this license, notwithstanding this hearing. Council can make a decision at the end of this hearing or may defer up to 30 days. At this time, I will ask the applicant to step forward and introduce themselves to council and announce their address for the record.
Thank you, council members. My name is April Fitzgerald, and my address is 1236 Sherwood Drive here in Montrose.
And my name is Richard Fitzgerald with the same address, 1236 Sherwood Drive.
Thank you. Mayor Reed, do you and the councilors wish to examine the petitioners at this point, or do you wish I ask some of the preliminary questions?
You may proceed.
Thank you. Please tell us about Endless Possibilities.
We've always had a dream to have a restaurant, and we've had a passion for Italian food. And I know there's a few here, but we have a passion for better Italian food at a good, costly, affordable rate. So yeah, we just have a passion to do Italian food with entertainment, which we have a stage that we've built into the back of the restaurant to have open mic nights and karaoke and potentially like things from the theater coming to promote their upcoming shows. Kids at the high school can bring their band down and actually promote what they do and play in front of a crowd. You know, we want to be a spot that supports and encourages the youth and anybody around that is a musical enthusiast to play.
That's fantastic. And may I say, a fantastic name of the restaurant.
Thank you.
State law does require that the needs and desires of the neighborhood be considered during this process. We've determined that the neighborhood is the city of Montrose. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Do you agree with the city being the neighborhood?
Yes.
Do you believe the needs and desires of the neighborhood are being met, or would this license help meet the needs and desires of the neighborhood?
We feel like it would help meet the needs of the neighborhood.
Perfect. Petitions were circulated by the applicant. Summary is as follows. There were 100 signatures submitted, 23 of which were determined to be insufficient as they were outside of the city limits. All 77 left over were determined to be valid and in support of the license. A few comments that were received were yes, and that was 3 times, do it, and love Italian. Are you familiar with the liquor laws of the state of Colorado?
Yes.
How will you stop underage drinking from happening at Endless Possibilities?
We are going to have a policy to card everybody, no matter what. When they get a drink, we're going to card them.
Perfect. Are you familiar with the available liquor law and education server training classes for licensees and their employees?
We are aware of it. We want a little bit more information on it because we're in the hiring process, but we'd like to be able to give all of our new hires that need it that for free.
Perfect. So do you understand that the city intends to have all businesses with a liquor license have their owners and employees take these classes?
Yep.
Would you be willing to commit to the council that if the license is issued, that you as the licensee, managers, and all servers attend such training within or as soon as possible if they are not already certified?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And I will say that we will get you the information on that liquor server training as soon as possible.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Mayor Reed, council, any further questions?
Questions, council? Okay, as part of our duties, when the council considers a liquor license application, we sit as the local licensing authority, and we are required to conduct a hearing. So I will open the hearing and ask if there is any public comment on this application. Seeing and hearing none, I'll close the hearing and ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a hotel and restaurant liquor license at 1544 Oxbow Drive, Suite 198 for Fitzunion LLC, doing business as Endless Possibilities for consumption on the licensed premises.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second. Please vote. I can't get mine to. You can't scroll.
It won't scroll.
Mm-mm.
It's okay.
Right.
Uh-uh.
Right, and then it won't scroll up to save. Oh. I can just touch the top.
Do
Touch
it.
the very top of save.
Where? Where did you?
Oh, you don't have it at all.
No.
Oh.
No, I can't.
exactly the same, it won't scroll up.
If we can't get this, let's do a voice vote. I'm sorry, what?
I'll reset the vote on the system, see if that works, and then.
Okay.
And if not,
Still won't scroll.
Still won't scroll. It's scrolling all the documents behind it, but it's not scrolling.
Do Control and minus, it makes it a little smaller, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was fine. Mine was fine, guys.
When in doubt, do control minus. Looks like it took a while, but we have a unanimous vote. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you.
so much.
I look forward to getting carded.
I'll save my comment on that one. All right, moving on to item number 9. This is City Council consideration of ordinance 2671 on second reading, and the ordinance of the City of Montrose, Colorado, amending Title 5, Chapter 2, Sections 1 and 5 of the official code of the City of Montrose, Colorado, increasing the hotel room tax from 0.9% to 0.6% and limiting the use of the funds generated to assist in the impact of tourism on the City of Montrose. And I will turn it over again to our city attorney, Mr. Dowsey. But before that, let me just make a couple of informational comments for anybody that is watching tonight or is in the audience. We previously had the first reading of this ordinance at the last regular city council meeting. And at the first reading of ordinances in the city under our charter, we conduct a public hearing. So we've had the public hearing and the first reading of the ordinance passed, and now it's back for the second reading before council because all ordinances require 2 readings. Mr. Dowsey.
Thank you, Mayor Reed. Members of council, as Mayor Reed said, this is the second reading of this ordinance. What this ordinance is going to be doing is changing the hotel room tax from 0.9 to 6%. However, as in the state of Colorado, any raising of any tax does have to go to a vote of the people. This will be on the November ballot. If this does pass by a vote of the people, then this will be effective. So as stated, what this does is raise from 0.9% to 6%, and it does allocate these funds to, instead of just the Tourism Promotional Fund as it is set up now, it is set up to where it will go to right-of-way maintenance, child care services in Montrose, incentives for affordable housing. Additionally, the Tourism Promotional Fund will still get some of the funds, and for public transit services. With that, I will open it up to any questions.
No questions or comments from council? Is there any public comment? Okay, I might just offer, as this says, these are funds that will be generated to offset the impact of tourism in our community. And most of our local residents will not be impacted by it because it will be those people who are staying in our hotels and other accommodation facilities. So it is a way of generating additional income to offset those impacts. So that being said, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2671 on second reading as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. It's back. And that motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 10, City Council consideration of ordinance 2672 on second reading, an ordinance of the City of Montrose, Colorado, amending Title 11, Chapter 7, Section 8, regarding the requirements of planned developments, and for that, we'll call on Community Development Director, Mr. Hockley. Okay, very good.
Do that in advance from now on. Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading of an ordinance as previously mentioned, and this is a code amendment I brought 2 weeks ago that did pass 5-0, and there have been no changes since that hearing, so I'm just going to give a brief presentation, but not as detailed as that past presentation. Again, this is a standalone code amendment proposal that would eliminate the plan development requirement for multi-building, multifamily projects. For multifamily proposals, any development that has more than one building currently requires a plan development process. This requirement can add over 4 months to a review process, which includes a number of hearings and public meetings. With its elimination, it could help in facilitating a more expedited development review process for housing, and it could incentivize, kind of in a way, more multifamily development. This code amendment would not change where multifamily residential is currently allowed, nor would it change the allowed density setback standards or other dimensional requirements for development. It would simply remove that plan development requirement, eliminating kind of a timely or a longer hearing process that adds a lot of risk to developers at the end of the day. So with that said, any multifamily development still has to go through a formalized site development plan through Chapter 11.8 of our Montrose Municipal Code. So that's one thing to clarify. This is not necessarily by any means mean that is a rubber stamp when a development comes in. It still goes through a heavy administrative review process. This elimination of the PD process just expedites that component of it. Again, removing this requirement, it would help with medium and large-scale multifamily projects, similar to some we've seen recently, but it also helps the missing middle housing developments that we're seeing more increase in, such as townhomes and other like developments. So removing that hearing process would reduce the review timeline and potential risks, and it would also further support housing diversity in Montrose. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, of council? Is there any public comment on this matter? Okay, before we accept the motion, I just want to make a statement that I often make, and that is for the public who may be watching and those in the audience, when you see us considering a second reading and you see us act rather rapidly on it, it's not because we haven't studied the issue and are just passing with a rubber stamp, but we have engaged in dialogue and discussion with staff previously in work sessions, of course, in the first reading at the time of the hearing. So this is a process, and we're at the second reading now. There have been no changes to the ordinance, so council is fully informed on the issue. With that, I would ask for a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 2672 on second reading as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. Okay, we have a unanimous vote. Passes. All right, moving on to item number 11, City Council consideration of ordinance 2673 on second reading. An ordinance of the City of Montrose, Colorado, repealing Title VI, Chapter 2, Section 3, 6-2-3 only, regarding the limit on dogs and cats. And for that, I will turn it over to Assistant City Attorney, Mr. Magliero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, members of City Council. I'm here on a second reading for Ordinance 2673. It repeals out of the code 6-2-3, limits on cats and dogs. The proposal appears on pages 38 through 40 of the packet. A brief memo appears on the pages preceding 37. Council heard this as a council discussion item on August 19th at a work session, and first reading was held September 3rd. Both were recorded and available to the public for review, those discussions. There have been no changes since the first reading to the ordinance. The ordinance strikes all language from MC 6-2-3 and replaces the title with the placeholder word reserved. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Any questions, council? Comments? Any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2673 on second reading as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. And that passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 12, City Council consideration of Resolution 2024-15, City Council consideration of Resolution 2024-04, setting November 5th, 2024 as the hearing date for the Leonard Farm Addition annexation. And for that, I will call on Planner 2, William Reese. Mr. Reese.
Thank you and good evening. Test. There we go. A little better. Thank you and good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council and members of the public. I'm having a little bit of trouble connecting here, but I do have a brief presentation to share. I can move on without it, though. We did speak about this during council work session on September 3rd. As required by the state, an annexation, with the exception of city-owned property, does need to have a hearing scheduled via a resolution passed by City Council. Tonight, you are, I think I got it. There we go, sorry about that. Tonight, you are solely voting on that as a proposed date and not on the annexation itself. We are proposing November 5th for that hearing date. Just to briefly remind Council of the proposal, this is a 71.22 acre site, which is located south of Ogden Road. This is within the city's urban growth boundary and city sewer and water service areas, and the property does meet the state's contiguity requirements. There are multiple zoning districts surrounding the area, including R1, R2, R3, R3A, B4, and areas outside of city limits. The applicant has requested R3A medium-high density zoning for this area, and we have scheduled a planning commission zoning hearing for September 25th. This is the annexation plat itself. This does show the exact metes and bounds of the proposal and does show the contiguity to existing city limits. The majority of this area is shown as a residential mixed-density medium district within our future land use map of the comprehensive plan. This indicates that the area is appropriate for single-family, duplex, or multifamily residential development, including townhouses. There is also a small portion of the property in the north that is shown as residential mixed-density low. The property is in growth area 2, which shows that it does have some level of or moderate proximity to existing infrastructure. As stated, the proposal meets state and city requirements for annexation. We will need to file an annexation impact report with the county, which we will do. Again, this is only a vote to set a hearing date, and we do find that November 5th complies with the state's required timelines for annexation hearings. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, council? None. Any public comment? No public comment. I'll call for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-15 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. And that passes unanimously. Item number 13, which is the last action item on the agenda for this evening, is City Council consideration of $988,964.84 in expenditures for construction of the Ogden Road Lutzenheiser Canal Culvert Replacement Project. This includes the award of a construction contract to K&D Construction in the amount of $944,464.84 and a survey and engineering support contract to Delmont Consultants in the amount of $44,500. And with that, I will turn it over to City Engineer, Mr. Scott Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. No changes since the work session, but I'll give a quick overview for anyone tuning in for the first time. So this is a replacement of the culvert crossing on the Lutzenheiser Canal. To help give everyone their bearings, the rec center is on the bottom left of this figure here, the Ogden Woodgate roundabout there on the left. The Lutzenheiser Canal is a main irrigation canal that runs through town, supplies obviously irrigation water within town and north of town. Owned by the Bureau of Reclamation, operated by Uncompahgre Valley water users. Where these canals cross our rights-of-way, we're responsible for the culvert crossing, since the road is ours and the road right-of-way. So this project will, the culvert is on the road towards failure. It was originally planned to be done the next winter out from this one, but that corrosion rate and soil failures are accelerating enough that we've moved that up to this fall. So we've moved a couple projects around. Originally, we were going to start the Woodgate roundabout about the same time this fall, but with this in the condition it is, we've moved things around to where this project will start as soon as the canal turns off in November, and then as soon as this project is done in March, we would then move on and close the intersection of Woodgate and East Oak Grove for the upcoming roundabout project, because we don't want to close both at the same time. You can imagine the traffic fund that would result in. But to give a feel for the art, most people are familiar with this area, but you can see here, not much of a road there going over the existing crossing. There's a 6-inch shoulder at best, so pretty unsafe. If a car were to leave the road in this vicinity, they'd likely get pinned. And for a pedestrian to walk through that area, also relatively unsafe and certainly uncomfortable to be that narrow up against traffic. So the proposed replacement is a box culvert that is wider to build the full template for when Woodgate does build out. So that would include the through lanes for now. The remainder area would just remain as a larger shoulder, and but sidewalks on both sides, and then also taking that waterline span, putting it below the canal, extending sewer underneath the canal. We have a multifamily project that's been eyeing the areas immediately towards the east of here, and so this will avoid having to dig all that back up again. We're not extending the sewer beyond here, but just getting it under the canal so that when the time comes, there's something to hook onto without having to redo the bridge. The project was designed by Delmont Consultants, put out to bid. We had 7 bids summarized in the bid packet there. The low bidder was K&D Construction. We do, in addition to price, we do an evaluation of essentially trying to find the best value contractor, which is a combination of price, experience, references, all of those things. In this case, through that process, the second bidder got a higher score through our local preference policy, even though they were a higher bid. But the K&D Construction still rated higher ultimately. And so we are recommending award to the low bidder, K&D Construction at that $944. And as David mentioned, that also the overall authorization includes survey, which we pay for directly just to make sure we can have good control between design and construction. As far as I kind of touched on traffic control, when the product is underway, it will be closed fully. There's really no way to do that in pieces. It's such a tight and narrow area. So that'll likely start in November, where Ogden will be closed. We will detour traffic up to Bridges Drive and Woodgate will be your primary detour routes. We don't want to detour them to Odell. It's not designed to handle that kind of traffic, and then the intersection of Odell and Woodgate would have some pretty serious capacity issues if you put all of Ogden's traffic directly onto Odell. If shortcutting does become an issue, we would likely close off one side of Odell to prevent that and the impacts that would cause. The work is expected to go into March. Hot plants to do the paving, the repaving aren't open typically by March. So when it finishes in March, they'll open it to a gravel surface, keep an eye on it, kind of keep it maintained until the hot plants do open up, at which time they'll pave it using flaggers, so they won't have to close the road again. They can do half at a time. That should be a 1 to 2 day final paving in the spring. We're planning to do this start in the fall of 2025. We're now starting in the fall of 2024. So this wasn't specifically budgeted, but because we were planning to start the Woodgate roundabout, we had $1.15 million in the budget this year that will sit mostly unexpended. And so that frees up those funds. It's all within the capital fund. It all can move between projects, obviously with approval. And so that gives us the funds to finish out 2024, and then we've proposed $650,000 in the 2025 budget, not knowing exactly how that split would happen between the years for the work that occurs in the spring of 2025. The only caveat to all of this is we are working on permitting with the Bureau of Reclamation. It's a federal, or it's through, it's a federal process, federal permitting. We feel pretty good about the timelines on that, and things are going well. But that is the kind of the one last loose end of this project that is out of our control. Should that not come through or have any issues, we would reevaluate project sequencing and kind of go from there. But for now, we're full steam ahead, and we actually intend to order the box culverts as soon as possible to get them coming, because in either case, they've given us the okay on that, and we would use those at some time. So we wanted to eliminate that schedule risk of waiting on the box culverts. Sometimes they can take 6 to 8 weeks to show up. So. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, council?
Scott, thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for someone who uses this road quite often, I see there are two major safety factors here. Number one, the fact that a big truck's not going to be going across that canal and it's going to fall in, because the canal culvert, right, is about to give way?
Yep.
Okay. And then secondly, it is so narrow there that I can see that having the new culvert, the new bridge, let's put it, is going to make it much wider. So that's better for pedestrians and bicyclers as well as vehicle traffic.
Certainly. Yeah, so on the worry about it in the interim, so it's something we're keeping a close eye on. So we're out there inspecting it weekly. By our kind of evaluations and experience in this arena, it is stable enough to support the traffic, including a big truck. In the interim, but if that were to change, we would have to close Ogden. So it's stable, not necessarily progressing. It seems to, we seem to have a little soil loss when there's large storm events that increase the head at the diversion, which increases the flow in the canal. So watching it even closer after storm events, which so far it's been stable and is okay. So safe to drive over. And we're keeping an eye on that, and we're hopeful we can make it to November. But if we wouldn't, then we would have to start that detour early, and that would be unfortunate, but safety first. It was something we would have to do. As far as you're correct on the width there. I think I included a cross-section. So yeah, you end up with this project, we'll have 48 feet of pavement width. Because there's no turn lanes elsewhere to tie into yet, the road itself will stay in those center lanes. So it'll be much more comfortable for vehicles, a lot more forgiving. You'll have curb protecting the sidewalk and then railing protecting the pedestrians. And the sidewalk will be about 8 to 9 feet wide in that area. So, it'll be a drastically improved safety situation there. And obviously, it kind of does play into the longer Ogden picture. If we want to get pedestrian facilities all the way down Ogden, this is an important kind of missing link to start that. It taps on to the end of what we just did in front of the multifamily apartment complex there. And the owners of that complex just dedicated the road to the east of here. The right-of-way needed to kind of keep going as they keep going into their next phase. And with some of these other annexations and stuff and development that's eyeing that southern area, we're hopeful that we can continue to make progress on the Ogden sidewalks. Right now, there's, I think, 14 different acquisitions left, a lot of them in the county that don't make that full connection down Ogden possible, but piece by piece, we're getting there.
Thank you.
So it'll be similar to the one on Sunnyside Road on the Nicer Canal?
Yeah, where you have kind of an excess shoulder there. The difference here is this one will be paved. We're building it out for the full template, so when the time comes that Woodgate is when Ogden is widened, it'd just be a matter of restriping, not having to reconfigure the bridge deck.
Any other questions or comments from council? Any public comment? Seeing and hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to
My
approve.
button doesn't want to start. Move to approve $988,964.84 in expenditures for construction of the Ogden Road Lutzenheiser Canal Culvert Replacement Project as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. Control little I mean little control little space. Okay, we have a unanimous vote in favor. Moving on to item number 14, staff reports, and we have the sales, use, and excise tax report from our finance director, Ms. Wittenberg.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. This report tonight is for July, and looks like it's going to come up okay. My microphone is working, so we're on a good roll. All right, so this is for July 2024 compared to the same time period in 2023. That doesn't want to work. See, something had to go wrong.
Oh, God.
Oh, sorry. All right, Greg got me fixed. So the general fund sales and use tax, we collect 3%. July compared to July of 2023, retail sales tax is up 1.4%. Construction use tax is down almost 70%. Use and auto use tax is down 7.3%, with total collections in July down 1.6%, a negative budget variance for that month of 1.1%. Year-to-date, this slide looks better, it's all green. Retail sales tax is up 3.4%, or about $480,000. Construction use tax up 0.6%, or $2,000. Use and auto use tax up 5.7%, or $51,000, with total collections up 3.5%, or just about $533,000. Positive budget variance through July of 5.7%. Or $850,000 more has been collected than we budgeted in 2024. Public safety sales and use tax, 0.58% is added to the 3%, and it goes directly to public safety. In July, compared to July of 2023, retail sales tax is up 2.9%, construction use tax down 68.9%, use and auto use tax down 7.3%, total collections down 0.2%, a positive budget variance of 3.4% for July. Year-to-date, compared to year-to-date 2023, retail sales tax is up 4%, or $109,000. Construction use tax down 50.5%, or $75,000. Use and auto use tax up 5.7%, or $10,000, with total collections up 1.4%, or $44,000. Positive budget variance here of 5.4%, or approximately $160,000 more has been collected than we budgeted in 2024. Montrose Recreation District, the voters approved a 0.3% to be added to the sales tax in 2014. And in July, we collected almost $250,000, down 0.2% from July of 2023. And year-to-date, we've collected $1.6 million, or 1.5% more than July of 2023, and it equates to about $23,000. Excise taxes, hotel excise tax adds 0.9%, and restaurant excise tax adds 0.8% to the total tax rate. In July, compared to July of 2023, hotel excise tax is down 3.5%, restaurant excise taxes up 0.9%, total collections down 0.4%, positive budget variance of 5.7%. Year-to-date, compared to the same time period in 2023, hotel excise tax is down 5%, or about $6,000. Restaurant excise taxes up 2.6%, or about $10,000. Total collections up almost 1%, or $4,000, with a positive budget variance of 6.5%, or about $30,000 more has been collected in excise tax than we projected in the budget. Retail sales enhancement, this is the portion of the vendor's fee that the retailers gave up back in 1990, and it is to promote sales in Montrose. In July, we collected almost $61,000, or 3.2% more than we did in July of 2023. Year-to-date, we've collected $385,689, or 4.3% more than we did year-to-date in 2023, which equates to about $16,000. And with that, I'll take any questions you all may have.
Any questions or comments, council?
Yeah, I just have one question, and I wouldn't know who to address this to, but I know we had a conversation as to the situation with the bridge going from Gunnison, and that we had some retail sales that we got from up there, and I thought there was I was just curious if that didn't create a problem as to why some of our sales are down just a little bit. Not for the whole year, but just for the month, because it hasn't been like the whole year, the bridge hasn't been closed. And I thought there's perhaps something you said that you might, there might be a way to track it. I just curious if there was. No?
It doesn't matter.
We had mentioned it, I think maybe at a work session we were talking about it,
Right.
where there's not an exact science to track that specifically, but we anecdotally believe that that has had a bit of an impact. I talked to Commissioner Hanson a while back when everybody was worried about that. And we always track our big box stores and the local economy and how it's doing. I think we mentioned before that on the hotel taxes, probably a couple different reasons. One, we have a new Marriott hotel, so that's in the URA, so anything over there collected stays within the URA, wouldn't be on these reports. And then the other major hotel, we have a couple other major ones, but one of them, the Holiday Inn's been under major repairs and upgrades, and so they have a limited amount of room capacity right now. It's not their full room capacity, so that would be something on the lodging tax side. And then as far as when Commissioner Hanson did some research, they were also worried about getting medical patients over here and that kind of thing. They found that the impact that they had worried about from talking to people in Gunnison and stuff, they weren't too concerned with getting over here. And so that's also anecdotal. It's just discussions that people have had with residents that come over for medical and do their shopping while they're here and that kind of thing. I don't know if you have any additional, but it's all anecdotal as far as my understanding.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other council comments or questions? Okay, city council comments. Does council have any comments that you'd like to make?
I'd just like to comment on the work that the police department has done in recruiting new folks, and they're doing very well at it. And the academy just graduated some folks, and that's going quite well also, and thank you very much.
Well, silence is golden. Well, the city council, having completed the work on the agenda for Tuesday, September 17th, 2024, will stand adjourned.